Welcome back, everybody. This is Mog on Mog's Cast playing some more of the game Kerbal Space Program, and just to give a quick shout out, thanks to Mr. Short Tall. We have a couple new Kerbals for you. We got packs, Trollolol, and yeah, we actually have another one here. We're gonna recruit as well, Captain Short Tall, just for you, buddy. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all the views. So we've got those guys added in. We've definitely got a good roster of pilots here currently. So I'm going to extend the offer again. First person to comment on this video and gets Kerbal in game. It'll have to be an appropriate name. I can name it after your username. I can name it after anything that you particularly choose. But yes, it does have to be appropriate. So going ahead out here. We've got them recruited. You are part of our crew officially. So let's go ahead and get something started here, shall we? I'm actually going to take a quick look. I've got this out here for time warp purposes to get everything aligned, just kind of launching something on the ground. You can actually get a full time warp by just having something without having launched. And that was a crash. So yeah, but we are out here. This is my little Stay Putnik. Stay Putnik. It's kind of like a version of the what is it? I think it's the Steputnik. The Putnik. I don't know what it's called. I should really know this. I knew it just a minute ago. I'm spacing on it. But anyway, it detaches here. It's just a little itty-bitty satellite that has a bit more to it than the original satellite launched by the Russians, which is, I'm pretty sure, the Sputnik. The Sputnik, that's what it is. The Sputnik satellite. Pretty much just a sphere with 4 antennas coming out of it. This one has a small ion engine, a battery, and some solar panels. But I'm not done with this yet. It's just kind of what I've been using for time warps. And I just wanted to check to make sure that our Eve alignment's perfect. Or, well, it's not perfect, but it's close to being where we need it. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to get the ship all set up on the launch pad here. What we're doing today is actually going to be launching out toward Eve. I launched up some satellites. If you watched the video that probably went up, a short one of just the satellite launches and alignments over in the Eve system, Eve and Gilly. So I will be getting out there. It is a very interesting planet. It has a very heavy atmosphere, but I think today we're just going to be launching up a station. Since we've got some observational probes out there, the next logical step for me is getting some Kerbals out there safely in an orbit around the planet. So I will be right back. Alright, so we're out here on the launch pad now. We've got Captain Shortall, Pax Trollolol, and Guster Kerbin, who are going to be going up toward Eve today. So let's get this thing going. Incoming launch noise. Oh boy, okay, that looked like a clip just a hair. I should probably turn this down. It's fighting pretty hard right now. Yeah, this thing needs better struts. I'm just going to say that now. This thing likes to tilt and wobble and go a little crazy. Wow, that is surprisingly unstable. But yeah, so we're getting all launched up here. We're going to be heading out toward Eve, like I mentioned. We've got satellites up, so we sort of kind of know what to expect as far as the overall process goes to get out toward Eve. But it's an interesting planet. It's the Venus equivalent in KSP. I think it's got the highest gravity and most dense atmosphere. I think it's 4 times the atmosphere of Kerbin, which is nuts. That's a thick atmosphere. I'm considering launching out possibly some gliders, some like little unmanned glider probes to set down on the surface instead of a rover, because rovers tend to be pretty darn hard to do anything with on Eve because they're super easy to pop tires. In fact, it's very difficult to actually even land on Eve without sufficient prepping. Oh, I'm going way too fast. That's not good. But yeah, so it's a very difficult planet to get to safely, to the surface that is, because of that fact. Heavy gravity, thick atmosphere. It is also the hardest planet to launch from. So pretty much when you go down to the surface of Eve, you are not coming back. Which is why I didn't really want to land Kerbals on the surface of Eve. We may do something out on its asteroidal moon, Gilly. It's got it's tiny. It's the smallest, so comparatively, the largest planet, hardest to land on, also has the smallest asteroidal moon. Just moon in general, I suppose. And it's so small that it's hard to actually get an encounter with. like getting my probes out to that was a little tricky. I had to actually use a little bit of help from some mods that I've got installed for the one I used. What is it called? Hyper Edit? Yeah, Hyper Edit. I actually used some help there, getting an encounter. Well, not getting an encounter, setting up the angles on it, I should say. But yeah, that's a tricky little spot to hit with such slow probes that use like little ion engines. It might be a bit easier with an actual rocket, which is kind of what I'm hoping for. I don't really want to cheat for some of these important launches. The ones that you guys actually see, I don't really want to cheat for. That's not my goal at all. It just, I installed it to make it easier once we got everything wiped because of the update, but yeah. So we're launching up here at about 40, oh, I'm glad I looked, I wasn't paying attention. About 40,000, we're going to tilt over here toward the horizon and start pushing out our periaps. So there we go. So, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and we'll meet you up here when we get into a stable orbit and are ready to burn toward Eve. Okay, so just finishing up our orbital burn here. We are in a pretty stable 105 by 110 orbit. That's perfectly fine. Stop rotating, you crazy bastard. We did have to ditch the last launch stage a little ways back there because we ran out of fuel, but that seems like a pretty common theme for me. I need to add a little bit more fuel to those tanks, I think, to actually get these payloads up properly into orbit. I might actually end up changing my normal design to the double wide tank here instead, because that actually seemed to work really good on my last one that I launched up. Was that the... I don't think... That might have been my satellites in the last video, in the music video. Oh, as a reminder, everybody, I do have a Steam group set up, so if you want to come join us in some Steam games or whatever, excuse me, or even just like hang out and chat on Steam with me and my buddies and our subscribers, by all means, please do join it. The link to it's in the description below. I also have a Twitter set up now because I have been very resistant to Twitter myself, but because of how uploads work with YouTube, they actually give you the ability to send out a quick like blurb or whatever directly to an attached Twitter account, Google Plus account. So if you have either of those and you want a quick, easy way to see if I've got new content, if you're actually checking those on your day-to-day, by all means, come follow us. I would be much appreciative. So let's see. We are gonna go ahead and start getting ready to burn out toward Eve. I think. Eve is the closest one here. It actually is on a bit of an off-kilter orbit. So when we're aligned, it actually has a small bit of eccentricity, or inclination to it, I should say. It's a small inclined orbit. You can see it a little better from here. Very small. But basically, I have to time this. I may not have an encounter, but basically I have to kind of trust it and then adjust at the descending or ascending nodes, which will probably actually be ascending, I would assume. But let's see, take a look at my phase angles and we'll set up this this burn. So the ideal spot we want is 305.87 is what it calls for on the online calculator I was using. It actually calls for negative 56.13 or something like that. In fact, 54.13, that makes more sense mathematically. But yeah, so I just reversed it because the actual degree, as it's read out in MechJeb, is all positive. So let's see. And we want to be come down right here. We want the node to be approximately on this side. So what happens, like normally you'll see when we're going out to like Duna, you burn on the outside edge of the planet, outside from Kerbal. But the reason for that is because you're using Kerbin's gravity, because it's already speeding through the galaxy, the solar system, like this direction. So you're ejecting and using that speed. When you come out on the backside, you're actually slowing down, so you drop further into the solar system, is how that works. It'll effectively look like I'm pushing out, and then I just kind of like coast along outwards, basically, is what it looks like. And we're actually, because we're zipping inward, we're actually gaining speed because we're taking the inside track. So we actually do speed past Kerbin, but effectively, overall, it's an interesting thing to explain. I'm doing it horribly, so bear with me. My apologies. I need to eject approximately here, roughly, and I may have to wait for another pass to get this a little bit closer, but we'll see. So here we go. You can kind of see what this does. It's right about there. And in fact, I think I will wait for another orbit because it'll put us closer to the correct phase angle. Maybe another 2 orbits, actually. We'll see. But yeah, it does take a little bit of time. So let's do... I'll come back to you guys when I got this node all set up. Okay, so we have our node set up. It's pretty much the same as what you've seen before. I can't really get an encounter because of the inclination currently. Look at that pretty view. That's kind of sweet. I really like the glow that it gets on the upper atmosphere. It's so cool to me. Anyway, we need just shy of a 4-minute burn, so we're going to burn at about T-minus 2 minutes. Just get a little early jump on it in case we have to throttle back, but I highly doubt we will. We almost never do. These engines tend to stabilize about halfway through their overheat, or through their heat warning, I guess I should call it. I don't know what that's actually called. The overheat bar, maybe? So let's start this burn, shall we? We're gonna get this station out to Eve. This will be the first time that I've actually ever launched Kerbals to Eve. The only other places I've been with a Kerbal without cheating is Duna. And with cheating is Moho. As far as unmanned things go, I've definitely just launched the satellites, the heavy satellite cluster up to Eve and got those in orbit around the planet and moon. But yeah, never a Kerbal. So feel blessed. We have Pax and Captain Shortall all coming over here, and they're going to be the first. And they are not getting dropped to the surface. I will not abandon you guys like that, unless you'd like to take the fall. We can put you on a ship and drop you down to the surface. If you'd like to be the first explorers of Eve, let me know. Maybe we'll do that. I think next, though, we're going to be launching up. You know what? Nah, I'm not going to speculate. I might change my mind. We'll see what happens. Ooh, it's taking longer than anticipated for this burn. That's fine. I guess we'll make do, but dang. About a minute off. That's substantial. But it should be okay. Let's take a look at our phase angle, see how we're doing there, shall we? Phase angle, pretty much right on the dot where we want to be. So let's do some physical time warp and get this thing moving. Poppin' knuckles! Okay, so, yeah, this is taking a while. I'm gonna go ahead and just fast forward until... Never mind. I actually kind of want to... I want you guys around for the initial burn. This stuff's important. The launch and the initial burn, that's where it gets tricky. So we are gonna just call it, and we're just gonna keep going here. We've got about 400 meters per second left to burn on the Delta V. These guys are having a blast. Guster's going crazy in here, and Pax is just his face has no emotion. But Captain Shortall's kind of freaking out here. Says, what's going on? While Guster is just having a blast. This is some rotational speed, I tell you what. Jesus. It is with physical time warp, but holy crap. Can you imagine what it would be like in there? I don't know. I'd probably lose my mind. That would be very fast. I don't know if you'd even really notice, though. You'd notice if you're looking out a window. But at that speed, you might actually be starting to pull some of that artificial gravity. Who knows? Maybe you start getting pulled to the side. Centrifugal force, I suppose. That reminds me. One of my, the guys I subscribe to, Hawk Gaming, HOC Gaming, built a station with quote-unquote artificial gravity. 2 huge rotating wheels around the side of his station on free spinning bearings. That are just crazy. Like it basically stabilizes his space station in orbit. Keeps it perfectly level because they spin at the same speed opposite to one another, so it just kind of keeps the station perfectly level right in there. Pretty crazy, I think. Cool to see, if I had to say so myself. And we're gonna go ahead and fast forward because I think I'm gonna definitely need to correct this orbit a bit. So we're gonna come back to you guys once we start getting closer into Eve. Okay, we are back, and I do have an encounter with Eve. We've corrected for our inclination. We've also slowed ourselves down, so we cut inwards and caught up with Eve. and we're going to be ending in an apoapse, or a periapse of about 12,000 kilometers up, and about a little over a day long encounter here, where we're actually in the sphere of influence of the planet, which is great. Eve has a pretty huge sphere of influence because of its gravity. So getting in close. Oh, here goes our alarm clock. This thing is useful, but sometimes it gets annoying sitting in the way all the time. But I know if I don't have it, it'll be terrible, terrible times. So we're orbiting on the incorrect plane. So what are we going to do to fix this? We're going to push ourselves over a bit. And nope. Come on. So we have to kind of, I'm trying to get it, oops, so that, yeah, we can come out the other side. There we go. So what do we need to do this? Let's head toward that node. Are we out? We are out of electricity. That's what's going on here. Let's go ahead and deploy. Let's deploy. Where is the sun? There it is. Let's rotate a bit and deploy this one. Booyah! Is that going to get enough electricity for us to start turning? I think it should. Yep, there we go. Oh no, no. Just hold it there. Let's recharge these batteries before we do anything crazy. Okay. So as this recharges, I forgot to mention my Twitter, if you'd like to follow it, is @CaptainMogLP. That's my username. So you should be able to find me on there if you'd like. And we'll get I'll start sending out notifications whenever we upload anything. And it has been confirmed, a buddy of mine who you've probably heard me talk about in the past, Shroomo Dead. He's got his own YouTube channel as well. He does some EverQuest stuff. He's agreed to to upload these videos for me. So if they're all on time, you have him to thank for that. As I am not at home in Alaska currently, hoping to get a bunch of salmon that we can bring back and make loads of smoked salmon. Do want. So good. Okay. So we're setting up for our node here. We need about a 357.8 meters per second delta V to burn. It's going to take us about a minute and 25 seconds with our current engines, with our thrust to weight ratio. And it's going to be in about an hour and 24 minutes is when we're going to need to do this burn, which is going to be as we get to this point in our orbit, and then we'll just turn that in. We'll zip around Eve here. We actually should be able to use some aero braking. I'm kind of curious. Maybe I'll just do that. I've never done a good aero braking, so I hope I can pull this off without killing everybody. So what does that put us at? 137. I think Eve has a pretty high atmosphere, so I think we should be able to cut in pretty well to do an aero brake, and especially with our current speed. So let's see, Eve's atmosphere. I'm checking out the Wikipedia page right now. The atmosphere pressure scale height, atmospheric height is about 96.7 kilometers up. So, with that in mind, oh, that's way too low. 31's way too low. 86 might be the trick, but I think it might be a little too far. So why don't we do? Let's do about 80. Now what this should do is we should cut in, enter the atmosphere a bit, which normally might, it's pretty thin atmosphere up here, but this might be a very dangerous thing to do in a real spacecraft. I have no idea of the friction it would cause on a ship like mine in an atmosphere like Venus. It could be a very bad idea. So we need about a minute 20 seconds delta V. So let's go ahead and fast forward and see how this works out with an aero brake, shall we? Hopefully I don't kill your new Kerbals here. That would be just terrible. I would feel bad. At least you would have had an awesome mission. First out to Venus. First to die on Venus. Or on Eve, not Venus. I'm saying Venus now way too much. This is Eve. In the KSP universe, Venus's equivalent. Normally, Kerbins in this kind of atmosphere on this planet would not survive. Though an orbital station might be possible. Who knows? In fact, I think we've sent probes to Venus that I think just pretty much can't even survive because of the harsh atmosphere and surface conditions. So okay, so about 40 seconds is about the midway point of this burn, so T-minus 45 is what I'm gonna go for. We're just cruising down here in the node here in the timer. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm trying to speak before I even know the words I should be saying. Okay, so T-minus 47 is gonna be fine. Let's start pushing this out, and we're gonna try to get this as close as possible because this is gonna be some delicate operations. Oh, that's a new, cool new feature I forgot to mention to you guys that I recently learned. If you click on the PeriApp or Apple Apps tag on these lines, if you click on them just right, and you can move around your mouse and not have to worry about holding it down or anything, and it'll keep up the information, so you can just sit here and watch it. Good to know, huh? In case you need to do all these delicate operations, you don't have to hover your mouse straight over it to keep it in line. So we're getting down to the last bit of delta V in this tank. We've got about 1,000 left in the tank, so I think that's going to be more than enough to get the circularization burn finished, especially if this aero brake goes well. So wish me luck. I hope this works out. So here we go. It's curving in, and we have a collision course. It's going to cut through the planet currently, and then going to quickly zoom back around. So there we go. Continuing this burn, it's going to start pushing back out. About 30 more delta V to go, or meters per second delta V to go. I'm going to start turning down our thrust so we can make this a bit more accurate. So let's see. It's just coming out here. 60, 70, let's go 80. There we go. Perfect. So what we need to do at this point is I'm going to set up a node. I am not going to be trusting it, but just in case it doesn't start slowing us fast enough, I can actually start having a goal in mind to circularize. Now, I don't want to be terribly close to Eve when this all gets said and done, because Eve has a pretty, like I said, a pretty high atmosphere, so I want to be a bit further out than I would be on, say, Kerbin. I want to be at about 500 if I can get it. So you know what, that's going to be perfect. 523 for now. That's a good spot to aim for. So let's zoom back out to our ship. That's going to be in 14 hours. So we're going to make this hit this node point. So why don't we jump back in here, get into a chase cam. Chase cam. And where is Eve? Can we see Eve? We should be able to see Eve. Where are you, Eve? Where are you? Oh, away with you, node. Oh, there it is, way below us. Okay. Actually, you know what? I am going to face that node. Is that the right... Okay, there it goes. I was like, that's not the node. But it was just coming down and going back over, it looks like. So let's go physical time warp, get this thing moving. And I'm going to zoom out a bit. And okay, let's go for normal time warp, shall we? It's saying we need to burn off about 1,068.5 meters per second, and we only have 851 in the tank. So hopefully, this aero braking lowers that enough that we can capture with just what's in the tank, and you can see how useful an aero brake actually is. There it is, coming in. This could be interesting. Like I said, I have never done this before. This is a little bit terrifying. Okay, come on, Eve. Treat me good. The eyeball lake. Eyeball lake. Eyeball. And there's Eve for you, folks. Let's see how this aero brake goes. How close are we? We're about 5 minutes away from our node point, which and at about 2 minutes is when we normally want to start burning, but I guess we're going to see how this affects us. So we are speeding up because we're getting into that tight corner around the gravitational pull. Let's see if we actually start slowing down. Are we in the atmo? Not just yet. Okay. We are very close to atmosphere at this point, or at least we should be. I am going to start burning, though. We'll see if this ends up working. Oh, I went past my node point. Oops. There we go. We are dropping, but probably not into the atmo. If we lower further, we might actually drop into the atmo. I hope this works. Wish me luck. Let's turn on auto cam. Get a good angle here, shall we? We're at about 80 in. Are we gonna snap in and get a good orbit in here? Is this gonna be enough? We're definitely inside atmo now. At about 80 down, and we're still dropping. Slowly, we are dropping slowly, but we are definitely dropping. Looks like we have an orbit, so worst comes to worst, we won't be pushed out back into this sun orbit. We want to get this down as far as we can. We're at just below 600 meters per second left in the tank. We need about 850 left to burn off. Excuse me, sorry about that. Had to sneeze. Okay. So let's see how we're looking. Let's go some physical time warp. We are cruising back up out of the atmosphere, so we'll see how much this actually paid off. So it's requiring about 600 more. We've got about 400 more. We do, thankfully, have gas in these tanks. To the equivalent, that's going to be more than enough to actually circularize our orbit. Oops, not orbit info. I want Delta V stats. Yeah, we have over 1,000 left in the final stage, so that's perfectly fine. But maybe that aero braking helped a little bit. We'll see what the actual remaining is. I think it probably knocked off. Looks like maybe close to 50 delta V. I should have dove further into the atmosphere. Would have been the best way to do that. I was just playing it safe, unsure how much I could actually get away with. Burn those down. This is going to be out of fuel here pretty quick. Let's turn on physical time warp and just get this thing moving, shall we? What did I say? It was like a 300 difference roughly. So I think we saved, yeah, probably like 40 or 50 delta V. We should have dove like maybe down to like 50 kilometers into the atmosphere. That would have been interesting. Okay. So turning on those, and let's burn these out. Definitely, that's bugging out. We should actually be seeing how much delta V we have left, but I guess we'll have to watch it through this menu. So, goodbye. Actually, I kind of want to keep that for the orbit information. Let's put that down there, shall we? Pop on some lights. We've got more than enough energy to do it. And we're definitely bringing it in, slow but steady. Take another minute, it's saying, roughly, to get this orbit all finished up. And then all we have to do is detach and dock up with the node for our docking ring, and this station will pretty much be finished. This would be such a boring place to live. A tiny little station like this with just a few seats, stuck tons of distance away from your home planet. These guys are explorers. They know what's at stake. Okay, so we've got about 120 more delta V to burn off. Let's go to physical time warp and just get this crap over with. My apologies for taking so long on some of these videos lately. I hope you actually just enjoy them, even if I'm not being terribly interesting some of the time. I do try to keep you guys entertained, give you some conversation. Turn that down, we're into our last little bit here. Oh. That's gonna need some correcting. know what? Let's just go ahead. We're gonna ride this out. We're gonna push this back out. Get rid of that. Get rid of you. Okay. Push that out to about 500. Is that kind of where we want to go? How far is this one out? That's at about a 500 as well. So let's go a little closer, shall we? Save some delta V. Let's go 250. I think that'll be good. Pair an apoapse or an orbit of about 250 up. That's fine. Okay, go to the node. Physical time warp needs about 180 delta V. Okay, so let's do this one, and then you know what? I'm not gonna make you guys sit through this. I'm gonna come back out to you when I get into a stable orbit around 250 kilometers off the surface, and we'll do the last bit of docking, and we'll call it good. Okay, so here we are, just finishing up our circularization. As you can see, we are pretty low on fuel, but thankfully we have enough. And I kind of want to give you guys that nice little view, surface of Eve, as the sun just goes away over the corner. Let's turn the sun down. It should be looking pretty perfect. So we're at about 249.7 kilometers by 252.8 kilometers orbit. We are a bit inclined, but that's easy enough to fix sooner or later. In fact, I might want to do it now. But we'll figure it out. For now, I'm actually just gonna go ahead and we're gonna kick out the docking node here, and we're just gonna drop on over to it. So there's that. Let's shut off all of our engines. Let's extend our panels, and let's go ahead and get all docked. Figure it out. Go to a better angle. Ow! Chase angle. Okay, there we go. So thankfully, through all these bits of you know, doing all these different space stations and everything, I've gotten a little bit better at actually doing rendezvous and translation work. It's become much easier. All just trial and error. So that docking ring is getting away from us a little bit, but not by much. Not too bad. So let's push forward, we'll catch up with it, and I think we should still be pretty well aligned overall. Slow that down, start dropping, shall we? Scoot over just a bit, do a quick rotate in that direction. Nope. Okay. Almost too far. There we go. Perfect. All set up, our node's pretty darn well centered, and we're looking good. So for now, let's go ahead and push a little further away from that docking ring, so that we're not getting too much clutter around our solar panels, because those things can snap right off. As I have noticed, I broke a couple of solar panels on some of the probes I sent in this system, actually. But okay, cool. Thanks for watching, guys. We do have a station now around Eve. The next episode will be something probably in the same system. I don't know if we'll do a lander on Eve or if we'll do a lander on the moon Gilly. Maybe we'll do that, give you guys a better view of Gilly, since you haven't really seen it too much just yet. But maybe we'll do something down to the surface of Eve, some kind of unmanned probe, since I don't really want to send Kerbals down there, since it would actually be dangerous, quite dangerous, and quite fatal. But thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Cheers.